and we are at 46 degrees Fahrenheit. It is 9,506 miles on the odometer. It's a Sunday, February 9th, 2025. Real quick here, I have been behind schedule over the last few weeks, really. Just barely posting, really just had a delivery. Really anything. Well, I respond a lot to what I see in success on YouTube more so than, and I see a lot of different things, from people camping in Canada to people doing interviews in Hollywood. But Grim Life, look at this house right here. It's very strange. It kind of just sits there. It's like a haunted house. Grim Life Collective is always just so impressive. They're a do-it-yourself group that came out of Savannah, Georgia, or in Florida, I think. I don't really know where they came out of, but they got an interview with Juliet Landau, who I found out was a member of the Actors Studio, which is very impressive. Having an acting past, I was always very obsessed with these people, that are obsessed with making themselves, the best actors around. But she seems to be quite the character. They just did an interview with her, and it brings in what I call the Ed Wood crowd, which I feel I'm part of, even though I have no connections with the Tim Burton movie, other than the fact that I was supposed to play Ed Wood in a play, and it opened the same weekend that Tim Burton's Ed Wood opened, nationwide. But we were doing the play out here at a place called Hip Pocket, and I get the writer is P. Gooch. He's written a lot of different kind of Hollywood-esque golden era, Fatty Arbuckle to Ed Wood. And then I did a kind of a standalone story called Swank City, which was kind of a jazzy, nearly a musical. Kind of, you could probably say that might have been a musical, and I don't do musicals. But the Ed Wood crowd is usually you can recognize them. For one thing, they're usually dressed in black. They have some kind of connection with the Vampira Hollywood. And Grim Life Collective just falls right into that whole aspect of. And Juliet Landau is, one of the queens of that. She's almost a Vampira. She played Drusilla, and she does what's that called? A pod show about vampires, and she did a documentary about vampires, the Dead Among Us. Believe it or not, Gary Oldman's in it, and he plays like an altered ego version of himself. And so she has all these stories. I didn't get to finish it, though. I only got through half of it. But there's a Johnny Depp story, and when it comes in the industry, that's something that does come about. There are Johnny Depp stories. I have one, and it does have to do with the bathroom. Michael's actually has to do with the bathroom. Supposedly he used the restroom next to Johnny Depp. I think they were doing number one. Mine had to do with number one, too. But I was at the Actors Studio, and James Lipton was interviewing for the first time at the New School, and I had to pee really, really bad. And really, there were a lot of people that were not supposed to be there. There were the whole thing was flooded with people. We're talking about the New School Theater. I can never remember the name of it. It's the one with the Roman arch, the old school. And this is the one where he showed up with combat boots and the green jacket that he threw on the floor. It was the craziest interview, because when he first came out, the first thing I thought was, this guy's a vampire. The way that he reflected his skin reflected off of the light, and he has all these stories and all this stuff. I was like, I can't get up, but I literally was just about to pee all over myself. I finally had to get up, and I heard just like a vampire, I heard in my voice, not that I'm a vampire, but I heard him laughing. And then after I took the pee, I heard this voice that sounded like Ed Wood say, "Oh, the best piss of your life." All right, 1.7512. Probably that one is what I'm thinking. That's 5.6 full 546 PM.
Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you switch
Very
your
eerie. Another thing I saw in a documentary was a documentary about a horror film called Late Night with the Devil. It's got one of the villains from the Christopher Nolan original Batman Dark Knight in it. I don't know his name right now, but it's supposed to be just, you know, this insane, very borderline crazy special effects kind of horror film set in 1977 or something like that. And just imagine Johnny Carson doing an exorcism. But it looks like a wild ride. Alrighty, another night of delivery. Gonna head back to see Linda and Kitty.
Was a time when I wasn't sure, but you set my mind at ease.
Yeah, just do Mountain Dew, Baja Blast or whatever. Looks like that's the Lux box for $5. I got some burritos.